Okay, good evening everyone. Today is our 286th Zoom session. For last 285 days, continuously we are conducting the Zoom session without any break. Actually, IFPH is formed with the intention of promoting homeopathy all over the world. Our only aim is to promote homeopathy and spread the knowledge of homeopathy to the entire world and unite the homeopaths all over the world together in one platform. So, actually, this is the globalization of homeopathy. The intention of IFPH is globalization of homeopathy. So, thank you for everyone, those who are participating our daily meeting, and welcome Dr. Bhaskar sir. Actually, today he came before us and on sharp time. Actually, I am appreciating you, sir. Thank you so much. And let me talk about Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt. He is a senior homeopathic practitioner from Ahmedabad, and he is an authorized medical officer of Indian Space Research Organization, and he is the managing trustee of Hari Charitable Trust, which runs 5 homeopathic dispensaries in Ahmedabad. That's a great thing. And he worked as a Secretary General in IHMA from 2006 to 2010, and he is the National President of Homeopathic Medical Association of India and worked till 2018. And he was the Adhyaksha of Arogya Bharati, Gujarat, and he is the honorary advisor of NJH and editorial board. And today's our subject is use of antipsychotic nosode in acute as well as in chronic cases. Sir, welcome, Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt, sir. Sir, please, you can talk now. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here because this is a vast platform where hundreds of people from all over the world have taken part as a listener, as a speaker to propagate homeopathy. And that's a really nice job that people are doing. I'll be just sharing my PPTs and then we'll start this. Okay. So we have been taught about biosm in the college, and then we simply leave it aside. This is my experience with a lot of students, my experience with a lot of practitioners. They fear to use nosodes or antipsychotic or antisyphilitic remedy in a higher potency. It will create problem, it will create reaction, it will create aggravation and whatnot. Today I would like to talk about it. Though in the last, before almost a month actually, before 20 days, we had a talk from there actually for 20 minutes. It was a curtain raiser when I talk about this psychotic remedies and psychotic miasm. But today we'll take the subject in detail. I know there are a lot of people who are very senior homeopathic practitioners doing extremely well, and there are a lot of students also. But I will go the way as if we are talking to everyone, even a senior practitioner or even to the student. See, Dr. Henneman discussed the theory of vital force, law of simillimum, potentization, individualization, single remedy in the organ of medicine. And every homeopathic doctor, whoever is practicing in different mode of practice, may be a mode of actually Dr. You can say Sehgal method or Vijayakar's method or Sankran's method or any other method. Every one of them is accepting that there is a vital force. You are selecting a remedy on the basis of simillimum. You should go for the potentized remedy only. Go for the individualization. Go for a single remedy. And everybody accepts that part. But when it comes to chronic miasm, there is a problem. People in India or all over the world, the theory of vital force is easier. The reason is We all believe there is a Atma, there is a soul, there is a Ruh, there is a something energy in the body, and that can disturb. So vital force was easily accepted. Then similar spiritual current are good. They had seen it, and then they feel it is that's good. Potentization, it took time, but people gradually accepted in homeopathy. When Hahnemann started with 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, but gradually he went to a decimal scale, then centesimal scale, and then they went 50 millisievert scale. So people accepted that part. Yes, potentization is a process where remedy is getting more and more actually powerful. Then individualization, good, because we all feel every individual is different. And ultimately, every remedy is proved single way or in a single dose or a multiple doses of the single remedy. So you must prescribe single remedy only. Whatever is prescribed in 3 medicine together, then you can use it. But that has never happened. Or it has happened sometimes like in a different way, HEPA sulf. So there is sulfur and calcarea, they have been proved together, but HEPA sulf is a different material than HEPA and sulfur individual. So far it was easily, but this is leaving a problem in the body for a long time, or it causes a problem with the your vital force. It can go to your generations, next generation even. That took time to accept it. And a lot of people still, they fear to deal with it. Why it is so? Because they are not knowing what Dr. Hahnemann brought in the chronic disease. Rather, chronic diseases is a book not used in as a textbook in the colleges. Dr. Hahnemann got the theory of miasm in his mind, and then the first time he put it in the chronic diseases, where he has written, this is actually wording from him. He wrote in the chronic diseases to find out then the reason why all the medicine known to homeopathy failed to bring a real cure in the above mentioned diseases. So he realized that all remedies are used, but at times the cure is not achieved. And second, I have taken the few sentences just to explain the miasm. He wrote, not until the year 1827, at 73rd year of my age, did I communicate the most important part of my discovery. He says this is more important than the vital force, more important than the similar current. The most important part of my discovery is relating to the treatment of chronic diseases to two of my most deserving disciples. So Dr. Staff and Dr. Gross, they are the most important disciples, and working with him on instruction to try this actually idea on their patients and report their observation before I make it public. I did so in order to avoid danger of seeing my discoveries lost to mankind forever by the materialistic world. That's what his problem. That by chance, if I put it in the public, it will be lost. Best part is let some 1, 2, 3 people use it, let them have their own experiences, then we'll put it before the public. He took just 7 years from 1789 to 1796 to reveal his law of similia. In 1789, he wrote the Coulomb's Mathematica, and in 1796, he wrote an article about the homeopathy, similar character. So within 7 years, he found out that. But for revealing chronic miasm, a root cause of the diseases, or the true chronic diseases, he took 11 years from 1816 to 1827. And he published it in the 4th edition in the 1828. So this is enough to understand why miasm is important. Let's begin with a case. So that's more interesting and people will enjoy it more. This is a boy of 2 years old, Hindu vegetarian. He was brought to my clinic on 27 June 2012. This was the parents said that it's a known case. He has left vesicoureteric reflux grade 4. When patient was 5 to 6 months old, he had sudden high grade temperature. Urine analysis and MCU reports were carried out. Urine report shows the presence of pus cells, which should not be there in a child of 5 months old. This was the report they have undergone. Sonography was done actually, and conclusion was left kidney thick walled, pelvic calcial system, mild fullness of the pelvic calcial system, and left ureter present. So they say advice for the MCU examination of the left view reflex, that is vesical ureterine reflex. It was sent to again to the radiologist, and they say grade 4 left vesico-ureteric reflex and urethra is normal. USC report at that time showed he was treated by pediatrician till 27 June 2012 before he came to me with following note: presence of small paraureteric diverticulum seen near vesico-ureteric junction on left side with grade 4 vesico-ureteric reflex. This was the report they have done on 23rd June. Left vesico-ureteric reflex, no appreciable change seen in the extent of vesico-ureteric reflex on the left side as compared with the X-ray of the 2011. So they got this idea in the 11, that is before 1 year, and the status quo, it has been the same. There is no change. What is this VUR or vesico-ureteric reflex? It is the abnormal flow of urine from bladder back up to the tube that connect our kidney to bladder. Normally, urine flows from kidney to the ureter to the bladder. Here, it goes from bladder to the ureter. It reflects back. So it is not supposed to flow back. Vesico-urethral reflex is usually diagnosed in infant and children. The disorder increases the risk of urinary tract infection, which, if left untreated, can lead to the kidney damage. We took the detailed case. We took the following rubrics. The child was very careful, though he was 2 years old. He used to cling to the mother. He was very obstinate. He used to get epistaxis, constipation. Her stool was hard first and soft then. He is very meticulous. He keeps his things in a proper way at this age. His toys, his shoes, his clothes. So we went to the repertory with all these rubrics, and we have got Lyco as a chief remedy, second number silica, and then calcare and pulsatilla. But I didn't give any of them. I mean it. The problem is not the present one. The problem is the day he was conceived and gradually developed in the uterus. During that development, his ureter is not properly developed. That is the problem. That happens only in a psychotic miasm. His elder brother was under my treatment earlier. He was operated for this, the same problem. And after that, he was getting recurrent infection. I treated him for 6 months and he was cured. So this time, they didn't give, once they come to the diagnosis, they came to me. Doctor, my elder son has been suffered a lot. We had gone for operation, and the child really had a lot of problems. This time, we decided to come to you only with this diagnosis. On 27th June 2012, following remedy was prescribed. Remedy was Thuja 1 mg 1 dose, placebo, SL. Thuja is a strong antipsychotic. Hahnemann is type of Nosodes, but antipsychotic remedies, particularly merc sulfur, syphilis, syphilitic miasm, sulfur for psoric miasm, and Thuja for the psychotic miasm. So I gave a dose of Thuja and said, let's wait. Whatever goes wrong, he's getting fever, he's getting burning, he's getting any other problem. Don't give any medicine, bring him to me. On 9th July, after 10 days, he was feverish, temperature was 99. Acute of Thuja is arsenic. We give arsenic 1 mg water, dispensed with an instruction to dispense only if fever rises. So 3 pills of arsenic 1 mg were dissolved in 1 cup of water, and patient was asked to take 1 teaspoonful every hour when he is awake. And if the fever is above 99.5 or 100, not in a 99 fever. They used it once. So remedy was again repeated Thuja on 18 July. On 22nd August, there is no complaint, but frequent urination is continued. Again, we give a dose of Thuja. 17th September, there was fever, mild fever. We gave again Thuja 1 and 1 dose and arsenic alkaline water. He was better. 8 October, he was given SL. 1st November, Thuja 1 dose and SL. 2nd December, the same. 27 December, parents said that we are going out, so give us that fever medicine. We give it SOS. We won't give it unless there is a fever. Otherwise, your NSL continued. When they came back, 29 January 2013, I gave a Thuja. There was a mild fever after 3 days, but it could be because of the change of weather also. But I gave arsenic SOS and said if fever is more than 100, then give. On 20th February, they utilized that for 2 days. In the March, again, colic but not serious. So Thuja was repeated. End of the March, they said his weight is increased after a long time. Now he's 11.7 kg in 9 months, and this 1.5 kg is increased after a treatment. I said, very good. That shows the medicine is working good. Child is growing well. His overall growth is improved. 2nd April, SL continued. 28th May, I advised for the MCQ examination again. I said, now we should go for it. MCQ report says, normal MCQ examination, posterior urethra shows no change as compared to the previous study. Left vesicoureteric reflex seen in the previous study is regressed. On present study, no reflex can be seen. This case shows the miasmatic remedy and acute remedy, that is Thuja and arsenic, related to miasmatic remedy work following each other to rectify the developmental defect. MCU, that is micturating cystourethrogram, following is the report after 1 year on 29th May. This is the actual report of the laboratory. Dr. Anil Patel, this is a known radiologist of Ahmedabad. Normal MCU examination, posterior urethra shows no change with the previous study. Left vesicoureteric reflex seen in the previous study has regressed. On present study, no reflex can be seen. And child is absolutely normal. So this is important that when there is a problem with the development, it's a miasm that is different. Miasm is causing problem. And when the growth is retarded somewhere in the body, be it urethra, be it anywhere else in the body, it is psychotic miasm. When there is a destruction, it's a syphilitic miasm. When there is a skin eruptions, it's a psoriatic miasm. We have all learned this part. But we don't use it at a proper time. If it is used, the surgery can be avoided. Child is much better, growth is better, child is enjoying life. Now, we will like to talk about miasm. Etiology has been defined as a theory of causation of any disease or a sum total of knowledge regarding causes. Every system of medicine, every system, allopathy, Ayurvedic, homeopathy, yoga, anybody that you name it, and when patient goes, sir, I have got diarrhea, I have got fever. Okay, what did you eat? Where are you gone? What happened to you? So we try to find out the etiology. Everybody is trying to find out the etiology, but homeopathy is something different. In a chronic case, in a serious case, we go to the deeper level of etiology, not the apparent level. That yes, he has taken this banana and he got the cold. No, that is not enough in homeopathy. We go, why banana is causing cold to him? We are going deeper to understand why he is getting sick or he is getting allergic to this food or this area or this weather and he is getting sick. So as such with conviction that for an effective and premature cure, permanent cure, the cause of the disease or sickness must be eliminated rapidly, gently and permanently. That's what Dr. Henneman said in the organal first and second aphorism. This is what we are supposed to do. Anyone has wrote in the chronic diseases, to find out then the reason why all the medicines known to homeopathy failed to bring a real cure in the above mentioned diseases. So he gave a list of diseases where he was not getting result. Occupied me since the year 1816, night and day, and behold, the giver of all good things, the Almighty God, permitted me within this space of time to solve the sublime problem for the benefit of mankind. So it is God give me an idea, that's what Hahnemann write, to solve the problem that mankind is suffering. After unceasing meditation, he did meditation for that. Try to understand how did he come to this theory? Through unremitting thought, inquiry, indefatigable research, careful observation, and the most accurate experiment made for the welfare of the humanity. This is what he is writing in the Chronic Diseases in 1827, before 200 years. So how great the man was and what great the discovery has made for the mankind. Hahnemann also wrote that the obstacle to cure of many cases which seem delusively well defined and yet could not be cured in a homeopathic manner with the then proved remedies followed in person otherwise healthy by the same or similar symptom, these circumstances should leave no doubt in my mind as to the internal foe. There is something internal which is your enemy, foe is enemy, which I had to combat in my medical treatment of such cases. So he used the word foe for the miasm, which is enemy to your health. Let's go for another acute case, which is very acute. It's a COVID case. I think last time I had shown it on 23rd or 25th of May actually, but I didn't show you the slides. This is a case of a 15-year-old girl having COVID actually on 1st July 2020. Irritation in throat, otherwise there was no symptom. So at that time there was a lot of COVID cases in the Ahmedabad. I said go for the test and then we'll talk. Report was positive on 1st of July. Her chief complaint were irritation in throat, sensation of mucus in throat, and had to hawk a lot of while talking. She is very scared because of the positive COVID-19. She thinks she will die because people are daily reading in the newspaper and listening on the TV that COVID is a serious disease and if not treated properly by the right person, the patient is gradually hospitalized and then oxygen goes away and it dies. So this 15-year-old girl, she feels, now I may die even. She started praying a lot. She needs her mother constantly. She will say, mother should not leave me. There is a fear. Appetite normal, desire sweets, sour, spicy. Everything is normal. Perspiration profuse on the back, sleeps normal, but cannot sleep alone. That is important. Periods, 12 years of age, she has got the menarche, regular cycle. Sun headache, she like covering, and she cannot tolerate cold actually. So these are the physical generals. In the past, she had malaria before 2 years, dengue last year. Father is 43 years, businessman. Mother is a housewife. One elder brother, 18 years. In the family, there is a history of blood pressure, grandfather and grandmother. History of cancer to the Masi and diabetes to grandfather. Now, diabetes and cancer, if carcinosis miasm, Dr. Hahnemann never considered because in that time, cancer was not so much known. He put it under psoric and psychotic miasm. Diabetes is a psychotic miasm. BP is psychosyphilitic miasm, and that was there in the family. As a person, we took her history. Mother says she is a bit lazy, would not help in routine course, which is a norm at her place that everybody should do her own work actually, keep the room clean, etc. But she's not doing much. She says that father loves her much. She is pampered by the father. She does not like household work, but is neat as a person. As a person, she will keep herself neat and clean. Her room, her things are properly arranged by her, by maintained. But if she has to work for that, she avoids. She is little lazy. Gets angry if someone makes fun of her, if someone disturbs her. In anger, she would speak up anything that comes to her mind. She is scared of ghosts and would never see horror scenes, horror movies. C gets normally anxious before board exam. C is a religious person, prays regularly Hanuman Chalisa every day before going to bed. And that is out of fear, I think. So following rubrics were selected: throat hooking, throat mucus discharge, clinging children, fear of being alone at night, praying, fear of disease, and fear of death. These are the symptoms to find out a simillimum further acute problem. But there is a psychotic miasm. She is little obese. She is pampered, protected by father. Nobody tells her, and she is a hood patient. And also she cannot bear the cold also. There is a chilliness and hope, but both the things, warm feeling is also there. We went to the laboratory with these symptoms. Stramonium came as the first remedy. This is a chart. Here we can clearly see that she is basically a Calcutta constitution as such. Religious, little obese, laziness, pampered, protected, everything there with the calcaria. But in the laboratory chart, the acute totality is covered by the stramonium. So, and calcicab is a antipsychotic remedy. So what I did was, we gave her stramonium 1 mg in water doses, daily 1 dose of calcicab as intercurrent and as an antimiasmatic in the morning. So 1 dose of calcicab for 3 days in the morning, and stramonium 1 mg in water, 3 pills in a cup of water, 1 teaspoonful every hourly when she is awake. If she is sleeping, no problem. And that is for the 3 days. This is the way it was given. And she was given SL for 7 days. After 7 days, she reported she was having COVID, so she didn't came, but somebody else came to my clinic. She is better. There is no complaint. We continued SL for next 1 week. On 15th, she had got no complaint. I said, go for the test again. Let's see what is the state of COVID. So this was the report done. COVID was negative on 14th day. So the anti-miasmatic remedy help you to actually, you can say, hasten the cure. Stramonium will work definitely, but a dose of calcicab actually help a lot, so that within 3 days she was normal, and within 14 days reports are normal. Dr. Henneman used the word internal foe. So I would like to talk about this point. We are all aware that every living creature has a lifespan according to its family or species. A dog lives for 20 years, man on average 80 to 90 years, depend. The day you are born, or your counting begins. So every creature in the world, when they are born, their lifespan is decided by a genetic aging gene, now they say. And at the age of 50, 60, 70, 80, depend. A parrot dies at the age of 50, or some other animals dies at 200 years, like crocodiles live little longer, or tortoise live for 200 years even. So every animal has got a aging gene which starts working from the day one you are born, and a stage comes when gradually you are losing your stamina and you die. How you die, that's what Henneman tried to understand. And he used the word miasm. Actually, in those days, in the 18th century, the miasm was a word used for infection or noxious exhalation from the putrid organic matter, poisonous article, or germs floating in and polluting the atmosphere. Dr. Henneman used the word miasm to denote an inherited susceptibility, a pre-existing disturbance of the patient's life force, his predisposition. So Henneman tried to say that this part of creating disease in you is a part that gradually working against your life force, and gradually you are predisposed to serious diseases, so that ultimately at the age of 70, 80, 90, you leave the world. So this is inherited part. He says the susceptibility is inherited, and miasm is associated with it. Thus, miasm represents an underlying cause for the low resistance. It disturbs the vitality so that the variety of reasons and symptoms which would not arise otherwise are produced. Because you have got a low resistance, low susceptibility, higher susceptibility, you are getting 1, 2, 3, 4 other problems. And that varies from person to person according to your genetic history. They could not be called properly illnesses. So miasm is not an illness, but they are the dysphagia or diathetic state which condition the birth of illness or the syndrome. Because of the miasm, you are getting different diseases. So miasm is a diathetic state or dysphagia which creates a condition where you feel sick. Unless you go with a right medicine, which treats you at a right age actually, and that will make you healthier and having a better susceptibility to bear the things. Hahnemann considered them hereditary because it is genetically connected and therefore considered as constitutional illnesses. And this is very interesting because today genetic engineering is much more available to us. But in those days, when genes was the word which was not invented, he said your vital force is affected by this miasm and it can go to your kids also. So it's a constitutional illnesses. And to remove this illness, you can remove the word illness and use the word aging gene, then it is easier to understand. A part of living cell, aging gene, passing on to the next generation. It has a code to decide your fate, that how and when you will die, or what diseases you will get in the future. Now people are actually making research in this aging gene, particularly to understand that what kind of life we are going to live. And it is not astrology, it is pure science. And that's what the miasm Dr. Hahnemann tried to convey before 200 years without any scientific instruments, with his meditation, with his thought process, with his concentration. He felt that there is something wrong inside the vital force that makes you sick. But then he added that you can acquire also. So we are born with it, that is one part. But second part is you can acquire the miasm also. And that's the reason cell can also die from acquired problem, poisoning, accident. So acquired problem can also create problem to you and you can pass on to the next generation. Like syphilis was acquired by some people and their kids born with the tertiary or fourth tertiary syphilis with the cleft palate. That happens. But to understand these things before 200 years when virus and bacteria were not invented is a great thing. I think such kind of genius person are rare in the history of the mankind. We'll again go for one of the case, the COVID actually, where we have used miasm in a different way. 43-year-old man having liver cirrhosis with hypertension had following symptoms: fever 100 degree, headache with the heaviness, pain in the extremities. These are the symptoms he came with. I mean, the man came with, actually, he didn't turn up because he was suspecting it COVID. So he sent somebody with this thing. He desires sweets a lot. He has got constipation. Thirst is plus. He perspires a lot. He feels a lot of heat actually in the body. He cannot bear summer. He bathes the cold water almost entire the year. As a person, he is indolent. He is quarrelsome, very religious. He is timid. He is discontented. He wants to do a lot of things. He does not take things seriously. Being an only son, he is haughty and dominant. So this is, as a person, his personality is. His report came and that was positive, COVID. We took all that things as a rubric: indolence, religious, timidity, discontented, frivolous, and even generalities, food and drinks. He likes sweets, cold ameliorates, profuse perspiration. And there are pulsatilla, sulfur, arsenic, mercury, particularly pulsatilla, sulfur, mercury, and lachesis. This 4 remedy covers all 7 symptoms. 8 symptoms. So all 8 symptoms are covered by sulfur, pulsatilla, phosphorus, not phosphorus, lachesis, and mercury. So I have to decide what is important for him. His overall attitude was helping me a lot. He's deciding in my society. So I know, I'm knowing as a person because he used to meet me in the society. So he is a man who never bothered for anything and absolutely careless. At times, don't bother for the business, at times worries for a business. So this gave me an idea that his attitude is like a sulfur. And at present, his anxiety because of the COVID positives, he felt that now what will happen to me? And he has already got actually problem with the liver. So he was much worried actually. I said, calm down, we'll take care. I gave arsenic and sulfur alternately in water. See, both the remedies are dissolved in a different cup of water. 8 o'clock, arsenic, 9 o'clock, sulfur 1 dose. That's that medicated water. Then 10 o'clock, I said, keep it regularly when you are awake. When you go to sleep, don't take medicine. And take it for 2-3 days, minimum 3 days. He rang me that he's much better. I advised for a test on 15 July. The test became negative. He's healthier. He's feeling much better. Absolutely normal. So here sulfur worked as antisoric also. And the arsenic was an acute remedy that covers his anxiety, fear, because COVID can do harm to me. Now, biggest problem with the practitioners or even students is how to recognize the psychotic chiasm. I hope I'm not getting the responses because I'm not aware people are enjoying or not. I wish I could have got the idea that whether we are going, I'm going on a right track to explain the things as I wish.
Proceed, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So in the organon, Dr. Henneman explains psychotic chiasm, and this thought has been taken from Dr. P.K. Sarkar. The treatise on organon actually. So the wording is from the B.K. Sarkar, but B.K. Sarkar's explanation of the various aphorisms of psychotic chiasm. So B.K. Sarkar writes, disease is associated with proliferation and infiltration of tissues. They are psychotic. He has written, there is a list of the symptoms on psychotic chiasm in the later pages of the B.K. Sarkar's commentary. One that meets with the sudden death. The pains are ameliorated by dryness. The next symptom is worse by the monsoon weather or the cloudy weather. Suspicious, cross and irritable, deceitful, jealous, cruel, and vindictive. So this is the personality of psychotic people. There is a slow recovery of all complaints. They respond to a remedy very slowly. Anything goes wrong with them, a mildest form of acne or a boil actually, they take time to get healed. Warty growth and gouty concretions, valvular disease of the heart, rheumatic heart. They desire food, hot or the cold. They are aggravated by eating meat. Complaints, better by abnormal discharges, thick leukorrhea, thick coryza, thick otorrhea. That gives them benefit. They feel better after that. Discharges are acrid, corroding the parts with characteristic odor. Pelvic inflammation and rheumatic troubles with much stiffness and soreness. All medicine for the arthritis are psychotic. Aggravation in cold damp weather. The season is about to start. In Kerala, it is already started. Further, Dr. B.K. Sarkar writes, complaints worse by resting, worse by moving even or stretching, cystic condition of ovaries, enlarged thereby nevi, thick or deformed nails, too much or premature gray hair. Excessive hair growth is again psychotic. We'll see an interesting case with the arthritis actually. This woman, she came to me in 94, 52 years old. She is running a Guru Udyog, means making papad, mathia, garam masala, the homemade articles, eating articles, and send it to the market or sell it in the market. She got a left sciatic no pain, sciatica, since 7 to 8 years. And she had a backache since 7 years. Worse in winter, she took some Ayurvedic medicine, severe acidity, severe burning, worse by fermented food. She had wart on the back, stomatitis. She had diabetes since 4 years. Anything excess is psychotic. In the diabetes, body reserves or creates excess sugar in the blood, and that is definitely a psychotic miasm. Appetite is good. She desires salt and sweets, burning urination, disturbed sleep. Her periods were earlier irregular, scanty. She is having a menopause since 4 or 5 years. She don't remember. She's a chili patient. She had a history of typhoid, dysentery, 1 abortion. She was operated for inguinal hernia and tube ligation. Well, her father was diabetic. Mother died due to brain hemorrhage. Husband is asthmatic. Father-in-law is cancer and diabetes. The father-in-law is not related to her history actually. But the interesting part is when you have got somebody with a cancer in the family, your routine job is double. You are stressed out actually. She had 1 son and 1 daughter. They have got asthma and eczema. Her biggest problem was husband is not doing any work since she got married. And so she used to do this by making sweets and snakes, etc. to sell because there was no way to run the family. She has got dreams of snakes. She is religious, weeping disposition. She is very sympathetic. Gradually, I asked her that how many money you are earning out of this household selling. She said, doctor, I have got 6 people working with me. I said, what do you mean? She said, whoever is poor, whoever is needy, I call them to my house, make papad or make some khakra or make some snakes actually, which I used to sell. And I give them money for that actually. So nowadays I have got 7, 8 people working with me and my business is doing good. I say, and if by chance they are getting sick and not coming to work actually, even though I will pay them because they are needy people. I said, good. This is the kind of generosity that you are having. She is sympathetic. She desires company. So as a person, she is very industrious. She is hurried. I said, what your husband is doing? She said, he is not doing anything. But I managed him to get work. I said, in what way? I send him everywhere with the snacks to deliver. Now he is a delivery man for me actually. My husband, I made him work and he has to obey me. Otherwise, I'll stop giving him food actually. She is dictatorial. She is loquacious, fastidious. Now she forget the things. And now she is little indifferent after because of the age and now she feels I'm tired of working like this since last 30 years. I choose the remedy causticum, which is sympathetic, hardworking, sincere, dictatorial, dominating, etc. On 4th January 94. This is a long case before almost 28 years, 27 years. After 15 days, she came with increased pain. And I realized, yes, they have got a strong history of psychotic miasm and her joint pains and back pain is also psychotic. I gave her a dose of Peridum and then she came after a month. She said, I'm feeling better. Again, I went for causticum and this causticum and medulinum was given to her alternately every month, 1 dose only for 1 year. And by that time, her sciatica was gone. She was really become little more active. And she said, I'm relieved of my not only pain, but depression. Now I was tired, that feeling has gone. I'm more active and I'm enjoying my life, going out, earning, etc. My kids are doing well, I'm happy with them. So this is what anti-miasmal remedy and antipsychotic. Causticum itself is an antipsychotic. But I realized that it is not enough to cure. So I gave Madurinum after a month. And then every month after causticum, next month I used to give Madurinum. And that is 6 doses of Madurinum and 6 doses of causticum in the entire year. And by that time, she was relieved of most of her complaints. Now, psychotic miasm can be actually diagnosed, or you can recognize it with other mental tendencies. And this is important because these tendencies have been observed by a lot of people in homeopathy who are working or adding psychology to homeopathy. And this has been mentioned by many stalwarts that psychotic people are confused. So the remedy that has got a lot of confusion, like Beratakar or Buffo, they're psychotic. There is a repression, they suppress their emotions. There is a poor memory, concentration difficult, dullness. They are secretive, they don't talk to each other, they are shy and timid because they don't want to tell what they are feeling. They are suspicious, they don't trust easily. They are opportunistic, deceitful. So, Beratakab or opium or thuja or many other remedies will come to your mind, including Madurinum, which covers not many things. You had seen the thuja plant. Thuja plant, you won't get the thujas actually, or you can only see the thujas layers of various leaves actually. If you to see the root or the other part of the body, it takes time. That's the personality of thuja. Their personality is to hide the things. They keep it, they're secretive, they keep it inside. They have got a guilt feeling and self-reproach. Why guilt feeling? They know they are doing wrong. They know that their actually desire to collect everything excess, money excess, position excess, work excess, everything excess is wrong actually. They know it, but they have to do it because their inner desire is basically psychotic. I must have money, I must have big bungalow, I must have 3 cars, I must have everything. So everything big. So whenever these things are, they understand inside, they are what happened, what will be the next life or next years of my age actually, and they feel guilt. So a lot of remedies like canon, like humanum, like group of remedies, they have got a lot of guilt feeling, and they are all psychotic. All like remedies are psychotic. Fixity, fixed ideas of thuja. Whatever they believe, they believe. You explain them 10 things, they'll say yes. They go away, doctor is not doing anything. They will listen everything, but they will not accept it. They are rigid. They are ritualistic, superstitious. Rustox, the most superstitious remedy, is a strongly antipsychotic. Clairvoyance feeling, which is there in a lot of remedies, which is psychotic miasm. They have extreme emotions. They get anger like anything, or they weep like anything. They've got shyness like anything, or they get angry and shout out like anything. They are lazy, sluggish, and obese. So these are the things observed by many friends. And I have collected a lot of ideas from a lot of people that what kind of a person is psychotic. What happens when you are getting inflammation? Anything when you got injured, or you are poisoned, or you have got any mosquito bite. On an average, the first thing is the inflammatory changes. These inflammatory changes are common in psoriatic miasm. But inflammation goes to the hypertrophy. It becomes excess. There is a thick exudation or induration, it becomes hard. That is definitely psychotic. If it is a neoplasm turning into, or there is a metabolic changes, or this thing is aggravated when there is a cold damp weather, This is a sure sign that the pathology is progressing according to the psychotic miasm. And this process of pathology is very important to understand when you recognize the miasm in a patient. This is what actually I realized in the last woman's case with actually arthritis, not arthritis, sciatica, that she had the pressure on the nerve and there is a swelling in the back actually. Both the vertebrae were making pressure and there is a swelling, and that swelling causing a lot of pressure on the nerve and she was getting sciatica. Psychotic people have the feeling of a fixed, irremediable weakness deep inside the self. You know, the thuja plant you can break down. It breaks very easily. They try to show that they are strong, but basically they are weak inside. There is another rubric in the repertory. Delusion, he is thin. He is fragile. My legs are made up of the glass because they are fragile. That's what the psychotic miasm. It is something inside the self which has to be hidden. They don't want to show it to the people that I am weak. So they conceal it and they are secretive. They have got a duality, a discrepancy between what is hidden inside and what is presented to the world. These are what the psychotic people are. They show they are great people and inside they feel, yeah, people will come to know that I am not great. They try to show I can donate, but they donate with calculation. Just the amount needed to create a show. Otherwise, they'll see if I'll give more, what will happen to me by old age actually. I cannot give much more. So whatever money they are having is not enough for them. They want everything in hyper. They need time excessive. They need money excessive. They need bungalows or car excessive. If they have got a swelling, it is excessive. If they have got a tumor, it becomes greater and greater, more and more bigger. So everything in excess is psychotic miasm. Again, we go for another case where a remedy was used with a different idea. But this is an interesting case. This man, 70-year-old, he came on
Time is to 9:30.
Okay, 9:30 is the limit.
Yeah.
Okay, I will finish with the case. Actually, I have got a lecture for 2 hours.
Okay.
This is a long lecture, but this one case will be enough, I think. Or you have got question answer session. I can keep it. We'll leave the case.
I think someone have questions also.
They can ask. Then we'll leave this part.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And if anyone have questions, please raise your hands and you can ask questions to Dr. Bhatt. I think there is no questions.
No question. Good.
So I think you can continue.
Okay. We'll continue this one case. I've got nearly more than 100 slides. This is number 60, almost 59, 60. Anyway, this is a case of a herpes zoster.
There is one question. One person is raising hand. Riul Shah.
Okay.
Okay.
Riul
Shah, you can open your mic and ask me.
Yeah.
He's from Rajkot. I know him.
Please, you can ask.
In theory of chronic disease, there is also written that in acute case, we have to consider those acute part, which is a deviated state of patient, and we have to take that totality. Then in these COVID cases, you have taken whole constitution. Is there any logic behind this?
Definitely. See, by this time, 1.5 years, we have all learned that COVID is not a minor disease. It's a major problem which can kill a person. There are thousands of people, lakhs of people who have died out of it. That shows that it is not the acute problem only. There is a miasm inside which becomes highly acute because of the COVID. We had a case of Dr. Jayesh Shah in Ahmedabad. You know him actually. He is a homeopathic practitioner. He got COVID and got admitted, unfortunately. And then he told me that, doctor, sir, I have got a my D-dimer is 3000. And I was knowing there is a strong family history of syphilinum. I say, stop all medication for the dimer, this D-dimer, take syphilinum 1 every week and get the test done every week. He took 3 doses or 4 doses in 4 weeks, and his D-dimer from 2300 to came to 1800, then 1300, and then it came to below 500. And no other medication for D-dimer was given by the allopathic doctors. He didn't take it. So the miasm, see, any crisis comes to you, that crisis creates problem and it awakens the miasm that was dormant in the body. So when COVID is infected, when somebody is infected with the COVID, it creates a kind of a serious problem with the body's existence. It's a crisis. And during that crisis, your miasmatic part becomes active. So you need anti-miasmatic remedy in between, along with or afterward, right?
Okay.
I hope this is enough.
Yes.
Good. Should we go for the
So-
case or we can finish?
Yes. I think, let me add one thing.
Dr. Manoj also.
Yes. Let me add one thing. I think these are the acute diseases of the transient explosion of latent sora. That is the important thing. And often the post-COVID diseases are often caused by these miasms. So definitely there is a role. We have to treat anti-miasmatically after giving the acute medicine. There is nothing wrong, sir.
Right.
Okay.
Good. Right, actually, that's what it is.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj, and thank you, Dr. Priyush. Priyul Shah. Okay.
Sure.
If anyone have questions, please raise your hands. You can ask questions. I think there is no questions. I'm
Yes, once
One
again.
more.
Naveed
Naveed
Iqbal.
Iqbal
Naveed Iqbal. Okay.
from Pakistan, I think.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Naveed.
You can unmute yourself and you can ask questions.
Hi, Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt. Nice to hear you. Very informative lecture delivered through you. Thanks a lot. But one thing I want to ask from you, that you have quoted Dr. Hahnemann, great Hahnemann, that when a person have disease and we are curing him, so there is an internal foe, which is a hurdle in his treatment, in his cure. So we have time, whatever way, if we do not remove the foe present in a person, in a patient, then a patient doesn't cure. So there are 2 cases you have mentioned here of corona. First was stramonium and second was the causticum. In the stramonium cases, you have chosen another medicine, calcareous, and the second one you have choose medorrhinium, selected medorrhinium for that patient. The question I have here, that in the stramonium case, patient has a fear of alone. Yeah. So it was the main fear, which was internal fear in the patient. And when you have selected the stramonium according to all other constitutions you have find there, then why you do not rely on the stramonium? Why you have chosen another medicine, calcareous? Why you have not waited for the stramonium
I got
that
it.
it works?
I got
Thanks
it.
a lot.
Right?
Thanks a lot.
See, try to
Thanks a lot.
understand 2 things.
Yeah.
Any acute miasm,
Yeah.
anyone said in aphorism 100 and 101, and other aphorisms also, that acute miasm at times are so severe that they can kill you. In a acute state, it becomes very acute and you don't get a time to survive. And that is what is happening in last 1.5 years in the entire world. Now, when you are treating the child who is already having a fear and acute infection, his fear will be doubled. As he is having fear, actually fearful personality, and the COVID itself was causing more fears. Now with these fears, she needed a help from anti-miasmatic remedy, which can be complementary to stramonium. So I selected a remedy which is chronic of stramonium, calcareous, they are complementary to each other. Stramonium is a group of remedy of the belladonna. So belladonna, house, or stramonium, all three remedies are well complemented by presence of calcarea carb. Even their actually the entire three remedies, their plant are growing in a soil where there is a lot of calcium. I hope you are aware of that in America. That belladonna or stramonium, they grows in a soil where there is a lot of calcium carbonate.
Yeah.
So calcarea carb is complementary to them. It enhances the cure. It helps to make the cure faster. That's the reason I choose the remedy and not anti-miasmatic. I mean, as a nosode, I didn't choose the nosode. I choose a remedy which should be anti-miasmatic as well as complementary to the original problem. So every patient, in some patient you need exact complementary. You need another patient, you need a real anti-miasmatic. In some, you need actually nosode. Like in that case of causticum, I give medorinum. There is no relation, but medorinum is strong antipsychotic. It's a nosode made from the gonorrhea, and which works on the joints, and that will clear the things about the miasmatic part, and causticum will gradually help the patient a lot. There was another question by Dr. Anand.
Yes.
Anand,
Is Anand Desai? You can ask questions. You can unmute yourself and ask questions.
Yes, good evening, sir.
good evening.
Sir, there was a case of reflex of urine into the kidney.
Right.
So there were symptoms of the lycopodium, but there is a strong history of the psychotic miasm,
Right.
and his brother has the same problem, you know. So, and you have given the thuja
Yeah.
as a psychotic remedy, and so there were symptoms of the lycopodium. Okay. So this patient doesn't require the lycopodium, sir?
Not at all. It will be surprising. The reason is development of a child gradually occurs almost up to the 16 years of age. During that developmental delays, anti-miasmatic will work if this development is delayed or restricted. And when it works, the other symptom will go away on its own because the part become normal. Then the lycopodium state never remains. That's the reason. Dr. Lakshman.
Thank you, Dr. Anand Desai. Those who are asking questions, please introduce yourself so we can.
Yes, Dr. Gupta, I think.
And Dr. Lokamani Gupta, now you can ask questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for such a nice and wonderful session. I recollected my class of Dr. J.D. Daryani, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt, sir.
Dr. Daryani sir is a respected fellow for all of us.
Thank you. He's my guru, sir. I worship him like God. So my pleasure. I really remembered him to explain in class. A very good and sound recollection of the math class. Sir, I want to know, as this is COVID time and vaccination is going up, and everyone asks, we do also, that doctor, what is your opinion regarding vaccination? Sir, please guide. It's a very good topic and
I
related
hope you have
topic.
got the time. This will take a little longer time. Can you continue for 5-10 minutes? Dr.
Sir.
Ajini,
Yes, sir, we can finish the question and answer session.
Yeah.
right? We'll continue. Because, see, this is
Thank
a
you.
interesting and rather not interesting. It is a serious question for all homeopathic doctors. What to do with the vaccination for self, for patients, for relatives, and everybody is asking us that, doctor, should I take vaccine or should I not? There are two things you should understand. Public health is concerned. Every government, suppose in a small town of any state, like a Wayanad or some a small town in Ajmer or somewhere, if there is a small road is there, and government decides to widen the road, merely people residing on both the sides, 300, 400 or 1,000 people, they'll be suffering. But the entire village, having population of 30,000 or 50,000 or 1 lakh, will be benefited. You get it? For the public benefit, 1,000 or 10% or 20% people may have to suffer, but government will work. When you are building a dam, there are people, thousands of people who have to vacate their house because of the dam water comes out, fill up. So government says, even if you are a loser, if you are having a problem, for the public benefit, we need the dam, and go away, go somewhere else. We'll pay you some money, but go away. Public health is concerned, every government, not only India, America, Europe, anywhere in the world actually, they all decide that for the benefit of larger people, 20% people may have to suffer. Let them suffer, but the 80% will be benefited. So to remove the COVID entirely from the recurrent problems, there will be a 10%, 15%, 20% may suffer, but they agree with it. That is one part. Second, about our homeopathy, what we can do or we should do. As a homeopath, I have not taken vaccine, but I am sure anything goes wrong with me. I had COVID last month. I had a fever for 7 days. I stick to my medication, and gradually I came out of it. I had given homeopathic medicine to nearly 500 patients in last 1 year, and they've all been better with homeopathic medication. But if somebody says that 60 lakh population of Ahmedabad should be vaccinated or not, they will say, are you able to give medicine to each constitutional remedy so that they don't get the COVID actually? Is it possible for me or all the homeopathy in Ahmedabad? Not possible. We don't have that much man force and manpower and education to give homeopathic remedy constitutionally to every patient, every person, so that they don't get the infection. So I tell my patients, unless and until you decide yourself that I am available 24 hours to you, you can wait. Otherwise, you should go for vaccination. Vaccination is a government policy. Government is not doctor, but government understands that part, that if 80% are benefited, let others have suffer 5%, 10%, 20%, or 50%, or even some may die even, but they'll go for it because they try to see that majority should be benefited. Personally, in my family, whatever people is deciding with me, I said, don't take, we'll take care with homeopathy. We should take to medication, homeopathic remedies, but that cannot be done for everybody in the Ahmedabad city or in the Gujarat state or even the entire India. We don't have that many homeopathic doctors, that much study of every human being, and so it's difficult. So this is what exactly I should do. I hope this is enough for me.
Okay.
That's
Thank
great.
you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the good guidance. Thank you.
Dr. Saji, want to ask something?
I just want to ask you a question because I know that you are connected to the government and it is you have a big responsibility of giving proper advice to the government as a senior physician from the homeopathic side. And in this regard, I am asking and bringing to your attention the point regarding vaccination. My understanding at present is that COVID-19 vaccinations are working by producing antibodies against the spike protein of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And unfortunately, this virus is very unstable and changing and mutating its RNA components, whereby producing changes in the nature of the spike protein also. So how a vaccine produced from the earlier strain of virus can be effective by producing an antibody against the previous spike protein when a new altered virus entering to a human being, as the virus mutates every now and then. So giving this vaccine is seemingly not at all a solution because it is getting mutated every now and then. And our arsenicum album, according to CCRH study, which is not yet published but unofficially published, showing 99.3% effectiveness. So why don't we advise the government, instead of giving a constitutional medicine that may be giving 100% effectiveness, at least 90% effectiveness possibility of arsenic album if given to the entire population, which can be done with a much lower cost? Why don't we advise the government to do that instead of giving a medicine, a vaccine, which is proven to be of less effective? I am asking this question as you are a very senior doctor among homeopathic doctors, and you have a very respectful position in the government supportive
I'm not with the
system.
government. I'm not with the government in any
I
position.
understand, sir, but as one of the most senior most homeopathic doctors in India, and also
I'll put it differently. I don't actually say that vaccination is good. I do agree with it that the part that vaccination may cause harm, apart from the change of strain or change of the DNA or RNA of the virus, actually, mutation can cause problem. But apart from the mutation, vaccination itself can create a lot of problems in the body. That has been studied earlier by Dr. Burnett. He actually write the book, actually, vaccinosis as a disease. There was a different part. But now with a population of such a 135 crore people, it is almost impossible to control the disease. That is their problem. How to control? Everybody, they have changed 10 medicines in actually protocol. They have changed the vaccine. There are almost five types of vaccine. Both the vaccines are different that is available in India. Apart from that, there are 6 or 7 other vaccines which are available in the market or in the world, actually. Every vaccine is working in a different way. But my daughter, who is a younger daughter, she is a biologist. She did PhD in the virology. She is working with a medical journal in America. And I had lots of discussion with this regarding your questions, because that was my question also. And she said, think about smallpox. It has got a strain which changed in every country, even though nowadays you don't see a case of smallpox. This COVID vaccine may harm, may help, may not help. Gradually, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years or 10 years, a stage may come that it will totally cured, removed from the world. But it doesn't mean that we are immune from other viruses. That may cause lesser immunity for other viruses. There is a different story. So you cannot stop it totally. It's a process. They are doing it, showing in the laboratory, and that process has been rectified by thousands of scientists, not doctors, not the politicians, not the bureaucrats. Thousands of scientists, few of them, they didn't agree that, no way, this mRNA will not work, but you should go for the actual dead virus. Then somebody says, then dead virus will not work, go for something else. So they are doing it, but you cannot stop it totally, because practically it is impossible to stop the entire. And in other countries, particularly Europe or America, with the 50% of the vaccination, almost they are able to move, and they are much better position as far as the health is concerned of the public. So there are some harm also, but comparatively, public health is better than what we are seeing over here. So you cannot have answer to every change that the virus is going to cause. And that is happening with even polio, or it is happening with the other viruses. But even though we had at least 7 or 8 viruses that antivirus vaccines are given in the childhood nowadays, which is compulsory by the government. And most of those diseases are rarity now. You hardly get it. But I have observed something different, Dr. Actually, Shaji, that is interesting. And it will be same in the Kerala also. In Ahmedabad, in every year, in the summer, we used to get a lot of gastroenteritis, jaundice, typhoid every year. I used to get, suppose I am having 100% OPD, there will be 8 to 10 patients every day, or at least 20-30% in a week with this complaint. This year and the last year, I didn't get almost hardly one case in 1 week. So most of them are not getting, either they are not infected, or the infection is not able to create problem. Because of the presence of COVID, something has gone different. It requires a study, actually. So why it happens so? I think the same thing will be there in your state also. That the common diseases that used to occur in every summer is not there. So this vaccine or the virus ultimately is producing antibodies in the body, which works for very many other things also. So you cannot stop it all the way. You can say that I don't want to take. It is voluntary. And they will say, yes, you can. It is voluntary. There is a Actually, I have got a letter where somebody has asked the government whether it is compulsory to take the vaccine, and government said no, it is not compulsory, it is voluntary. So the question is not compulsory.
Yeah, I understand, sir. My only suggestion is that if the government is prioritizing vaccines which are not effective as suspected,
And why not
we
advertising homeopathy?
we people should suggest the government at least
See,
to
Dr. Saji,
have a pilot study.
Then it's unfortunate that from the day one, the day when human actually invented this science, he has to fight for his own survival and for the survival of homeopathy. And since then, homeopathy is fighting against the world since 200 years. It's not one day problem. And we have to fight till we work. And the next generation has to fight. Because actually, our science cannot be proved in the way they prove in the laboratory. We are much higher than that. And they will come definitely. But let the day come. Till the time, we'll have to wait.
Why? Sorry, sir, I am not hurting you or not
No, not at all.
questioning you.
You're welcome.
Questioning you, and
Arey,
I am only requesting you as a senior homeopath. You people,
we did
seniors,
wrote
should
letters. We had met
recommend
this,
to the government, sir.
No, we have met our ministers. We have wrote the letters even to the central government, the state government. I met our health minister 7 times in last year. 7 times. They had got no idea because ultimately they are run by the group of medical people who have been given power in the epidemic, that this epidemic will be handled by this committee. And that committee doesn't have any homeopathic doctor. That's unfortunate.
Thank you, sir. 3 more doctors are waiting.
Yes.
Yes. Dr. Valerie.
Yes.
Okay, you can ask question now.
Yeah, sir, my question is about prophylactic for this COVID wave, especially now that they are saying that the 3rd wave will affect the kids. So one thing is that, sir, I have, during all the webinars, I have understood that tuberculum aviare is supposed to be a prophylactic for this wave. Sir, and other thing I have heard is that it is also dependent on the area or the location. So every place has a different remedy which we have to take. Is that the case, sir? And the second question is about mucormycosis, sir.
Dr. Valerie, what you say is the real truth. Dr. Henneman, when found out this genus epidemicus for scarlatina, he studied the patients of one particular town where he was practicing. And he said that you must see 20 patients to decide what remedy will be genus epidemicus for that area. So this one remedy for the entire country, I don't agree with that idea. They should have leave it to the people concerned in every different state. The weather of Kerala is different than the Gujarat, and Gujarat is different than the Delhi, and Delhi is different than the Calcutta. So every state and every area has got a different attitude, different response to the virus, and the genus can be changed. That is one part. Second part, the constitutional remedy is the best. I mean, you can say preventive. Any patient who is constitutionally Calca silicata, he should be given Calca silicata. He should be Stemmonium if he is a Stemmonium patient, and that is the best preventive. Lastly, the Nosode, particularly tuberculum aviare, Dr. Vishpala Parsarthi in Bombay, the editor of the NGH, she gave to nearly 1,000 people, and she got a data, and she says that this had worked wonderfully in all her patients, all her people whom she had given tuberculosis every 1 dose of 200 every week. So I agree with it that the nosodes are better. Constitutional remedy is the best. Otherwise, you should see the patient, 20, 30 people, and found out which is the most common symptom. With that common symptom, go to the repertory, and that remedy which covers every symptom will be available in your area, in your city. No doubt.
Sir, and my second question is about mucormycosis. Sir, what is the role of homeopathy in mucormycosis cases? And what is the miasm, sir?
You should be miasmatic is psychotic and syphilitic. It is psychosyphilitic. Both the miasm are highly active in that case because it grows very fast, covers the entire mouth, upper jaw, lower jaw, sinuses and reaches the brain within 24 hours or 48 hours and kill the
Yes.
people even at times. Even eyes are lost. So
Yes.
it is psychosyphilitic. I had never treated a single patient. I'm very clear about it because most of the patients or all patients in Gujarat, they are hospitalized under treatment and surgery. So I had never got an opportunity to treat them. And I don't think that it is a real disease. It's a disease produced by the problem of the oxygenation. The hydrogenated oxygen, oxygen is passed from the water, and that water contains the this actually fungus. This goes to the nasal cavity. So
Yes, sir.
it's very difficult. It is a really serious case where I think homeopathy will take time to understand exactly the pathophysiology because it is very fast. It
Okay.
is like an accident. If accident occurs, that leg is cut off, you have to go for surgery. You cannot show that wait, take arnica and staphysagria, clean cut food and it will get healed. No, surgery has to be done.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the condition.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vallari. Next is Dr. Devendra Vyas. Sir, you can ask your question. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sir, homeopathic nosode can be used instead of vaccination.
We have to say here is an nosode. Tube aviary is an nosode. It is used. You want to know that there is a COVID-13 nosode.
Yes.
No,
I want to
it has
know.
not been recognized by the government or the homeopathic pharmacopoeia. The Dr. Rajesh has prepared it, proved it, but it is not included and not available in the market. He cannot sell it even.
Okay.
So if it is done, we'll be happy. We as a homeopathic association had written later to the government that when you are giving emergency permission to a lot of other actually vaccination, why don't you give permission to Nosode 30 also? And let us try for that. But still so far, we didn't get the response.
Yes, sir. I want to ask that question only.
Thank you, sir. Next is Dr. Danesh. Sir, you can ask your question.
Good evening, Alan. Good evening, Bhaskar. Sir, it's a very good presentation, sir. We are really impressed with your presentation as well as your clear question answers also. Sir, I am from Kerala, and here the second wave is in full swing now. And in the early part, we used to give arsenic alba as a preventive in our part, but since the second wave has come out, most of the doctors are giving arsenic amalgam, phosphorus, and tuberculin. This combination is.
Your voice is very low.
Yes.
Louder, please.
Now, okay, can you hear, sir?
Yes. Little louder.
I am from Kerala, and here the second wave is in full swing. And in the first part, we used to give arsenic amalgam as a preventive, but in the second time now, things are not controlled with the arsenic amalgam. So we are giving a combination of arsenicum, phosphorus, and tuberculin. It works wonderfully, and the results are excellent. And this is what I want to say here. But the one more thing we have noted here is that most of the people who have taken the second dose of vaccination are getting COVID in a violent form rather than they predicted. They used to say that the COVID-19 will not be as much higher momentum with when if you take this vaccination, but that is absolutely ridiculous. And there are cases that are coming from patients report that they are suffering even after vaccination. They are having very heavy suffering, a heavy rate of intensity of the infection, and they are suffering a lot. And not only that, most of the people in the home also getting the disease because they have stopped taking this vaccine, this homeopathic preventive, because they thought that they may not get this vaccine, this disease, because they have taken this vaccination. So the thing is that people are coming back to homeopathy for preventive selection. And this is one of the change that is happening in Kerala now. So the government has now announced that homeopathic medicine as a preventive can be given to those people who are interested, and not only that, they are giving in every home through the panchayat. So this is one of the most important impact of homeopathic preventive.
I got it, Dr. Danesh.
Yes, sir.
There are a lot of answers in your question also. You have answered a lot of things on your own even, which is
Yes, sir.
good. I will say two things.
Yes, sir.
CCRH is recommending arsenic 30 still today.
Yes, sir.
One part, that is government, that is their way of working. There actually they have got their own data of the Delhi and the lot of other cities around Meerut or UP or Rajasthan, and they have got data collected, and they say arsenic 30 is still preventive. That's what the calculation they have made after having a data of the number of people in thousands. One part. Second, as we answered Dr. Valerie earlier, best preventive is constitutional remedy, and second part is local 20 patients you must see,
Yes,
their
sir.
symptoms to be collected, and the remedy that comes common to everyone will be the genus epidemic for that area, for that city, for that country, for that particular population. Third part, apart from that, is no source particularly. Tuberculum aviaria has been used by a lot of people. It worked. Your another idea of arsenic, phosphorus, and tuberculum, Dr. Ashok Das in West Bengal, Calcutta, he had presented a paper on that actually, but he said give arsenic, then phosphorus, then tuberculum, not all together,
No,
one by one.
Exactly.
And yes, and that's what is working wonderfully with him. He has got data of nearly 6,000 people in the Salt Lake area, and he said that arsenic followed by phosphorus followed by tuberculum is working wonder. That's what he claimed, and he's a good friend. We had a lot of talk about it, and recently he wrote to the government also that these three remedies are not only preventive, they are also curative. So in a treatment part also, he says start with arsenic, and stage then changes, go for phosphorus, and then again stage changes, go for the tuberculum, and then again you can go for the arsenic. And he had got marvelous results with various patients also. So that's all I think is enough.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Divya.
Thank you so much.
There is one Dr. Divya.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. I just wanted to reply to Dr. Valerie. She asked the question regarding mucormycosis and role of homeopathy. I had two cases with that, and the way you say it is a psychosyphilitic strain, and I prescribed Thuja 1M for two patients, and with that the mucus was inactive. That ENTs, when they examine after Thuja doses, they said it is become an inactive fungus now.
Divya, I will ask you two things before you say something.
Yes, sir.
Be clear. Mucous mycosis is a notified disease.
Yes, sir.
You cannot treat it without government's knowledge. First part, technically, legally.
Yes.
Second part, with Thuja you gave, before or after, allopathic treatment was continued, right?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Who made the diagnosis?
They made the diagnosis, but because of lack of antifungal medicine in their area, they could not find the medicine during that period. So
Exactly,
in
not
between that,
exactly antifungal, but they must have given the anti-inflammatory and or the prednisolone or some kind of other remedies.
steroid was there. Yes, yes, I do agree with that. That steroid was there, continuing with that patient.
So with that, actually, when you claim that the Thuja has worked out, be careful that government cannot accept that part easily.
I do agree.
Yes. So you cannot claim it in the public that Thuja worked and mucus can be cured.
Okay,
no,
sir.
Right?
I take a pardon for that. Sorry.
No problem. I know you personally, so I'm telling you.
No, I
You
do
guys from
agree
Surat,
with
actually
that.
from Gujarat, and she's a part of one of my relative. Anyway,
Okay.
it's good you are listening. Happy.
No, I just wanted to make clear in that sense only that I had that even though after that ENT examined that and he advised for the surgery, the patient, I was just coming on that point only, that they said that now the fungus is not active, but still we will go for the surgery only, and then we will be in the safer side.
Yes, but
And
the things which is not active can be active within a minute or two even.
yes, I was
The
I was
moment
just
your
sharing
vital
my
force goes
experience.
down, the moment your immunity is lessened, it will start active. Anyway, I think now we have got no questions, Dr. Ajini.
Yes, sir. Now, for giving vote of thanks, I'm inviting Dr. Shaji Kudiyat, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. And we highly respect and honor your presence in our forum. I humbly request you to be prepared to come back to our forum again to give your wisdom and enormous knowledge. And I will be contacting you for future sessions. And in between, I wish to inform those who undergo, take part treatment for this kind of government information needed. You do it as part of a research protocol, and even get an informed consent from the patient that they are willing to take part in as a volunteer in your research project protocol, then it will be legally more safer for you. I'm just for incidentally, I'm noticing Dr. Divya made this point. That's why I'm telling you this in between. So I come back to the point of thanking Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt, sir. Sir, on behalf of International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy, and on my personal behalf and on behalf of everybody, those who attended today, I thank you. And as I said earlier, we need your presence again in our forum, and I will be contacting you again for that.
Thanks a lot, Doctor. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm really happy that I've got a lot of friends like you, where I can actually talk to, and I also learned the things from a lot of people. So nice of you for calling me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Right to everybody.
Again, I am thanking all those who participated for different part of the India and different part of the world. We appreciate your continued presence in our Zoom meetings, which we are conducting every day. We may be changing our link because of some inconvenience and technical problems. We take note of this point so that in coming days there is possibility that we may change our link and even our platform from Zoom to some other platform which we are not yet finalized. So until now we are using same link for until today, but there is possibility that it may change, so take note of it. It will be all disclosed in our WhatsApp groups, and so you can observe it, get it from our groups, WhatsApp groups. So I thank also all those who participated today. Tomorrow we will be having another Zoom session with it will be a group discussion with the same topic of what needs to be done to bring homeopathy to the #1 medicine in the world. And the panelists are Dr. Tejal Jasal from USA, Dr. Madalena Moita from Portugal, and Dr. Sweta Singh from India. With this, I wind up today's session. See you again tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m. Indian time. Thank you. Good night.